handful of presenters, a mass of microphones, and a whole load of talk. This is TigerTails Radio.
And good evening, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, and welcome to another delightful and delectable, otherwise entertaining episode of TigerTails Radio. I'm your host, TK, and in the studio we have an Angel Duck Song.
Hello.
And we have a Xavier.
Hello.
Who's all the way in the foreign lands of somewhere.
Well, I'm in Bournemouth, which is Dorset, which is just next door.
Isn't Dorset way, where they all talk funny. Except all the people in Bournemouth, because they're like 1 million years old and are about to die.
Yeah, clearly.
Well, you've been to Bournemouth, Pete. You live there. You know how many...
I live there, yeah.
So you know how many old people are just milling around, especially in like the Hove area. That's Brighton. No, ignore that. What's that place next to Bournemouth?
Southampton?
Christchurch?
No, the one you can walk down. The one that's got its own little pier.
Bournemouth?
Boscombe.
Boscombe, yeah, that's the place.
Or Poole.
Boscombe, where all the old people go to die. It's like an elephant graveyard, except for people.
It's like Cornwall, but actually people die. Hang on, let me come a bit closer.
Yeah, I mean, it's like retirement home capital of the South or something crazy like that. It's just filled with the old.
Filled with old people.
The old and
Not quite where I live.
Well, you must obviously live in the bustling metropolis part. Or something.
Definitely, or something.
Fair enough. But yes, we are here. It is episode 47 of season 8 of TigerTails Radio. We are getting so close to the end of the series, we can almost taste it. Taste its deliciousness.
Taste it.
Hom nom 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 nom. And yes, it is that time now where we waffle in your ears for 2 hours or so, and then go away as if nothing ever happened.
Until next week.
Except for me and Alex, who've got recording to do for the next Beasts of Fury video.
Yeah, we do.
When this Chinese digests. But check us out tonight. We're on time. And we're fed. I don't know about you, Pete, but the rest of us.
I've eaten before. I got in at 7. I quickly grabbed some food and I sat down thinking I've got plenty of time to get everything ready. Then I got a call at 22:15.
I wonder who that could have been.
And it was like, you guys calling.
Yeah, well, we were being efficient and actually getting shit done on time.
Yeah.
That didn't mean you had to be at your microphone the whole time, Pete. You could have just left it there idle and continued doing stuff.
Done your own thing.
Well, my doing stuff was getting everything ready for the show, so, you know. I could do that whilst I was getting mic'd up.
Excuses.
I mean, that's what we were doing. We were getting ready for the show.
Yep. We were busy eating for the show.
We were eating for England.
We literally ate for the show.
We did.
You will, however, notice that Felis is not there.
No.
Yeah, Felis is absent tonight. He did send me a message over Facebook saying he wouldn't be able to make it about a minute ago. And so...
And he gave no good reason as to why.
But he did say expect news to be incoming, so...
Oh, he's expecting.
Ooh.
And we have DJ in channel. Hello, DJ.
Hello, DJ.
Nice to see you. Nice. But yes, so let's actually do a segment or something. So, Mr. Xavier, how has your week been?
My week, my God, last week was filled with work because we had new training. So that meant new process. So that meant everyone sat in an hour and a half training room, listening to what they were saying, and then asking questions like, "What are you talking about? What are we supposed to be doing? Why are we doing this? I don't understand."
Yeah, I know that feeling. I am currently going through training at the moment, which consists of, what the hell product is this? Oh my God, this is complicated. Holy shit. Can we go back to the thing we were talking about last time, because that made sense.
Yeah. The annoying thing is it's not complicated, it just suddenly makes you view everything that you've done before differently, and because that happens you sit there and go, but what am I actually doing?
Yeah.
I don't know. And suddenly it's as if you've forgotten everything.
Everything you ever knew previously.
Yeah, which wasn't fun.
You do know that you guys are coming out through the speaker.
Okay.
Are we?
I wondered. That's better.
Yeah. Now I don't.
That's where noise was coming from.
I was wondering about that. Thanks, Mr. Angel Dark Song.
It's okay.
Yeah, I also got news about the presentation thing that I did that was for an opportunity to be an ambassador to go to South Africa and visit Discovery. Unfortunately, didn't get it. So, it was a little bit down, but...
I think, though, that's not so much to do with your presentation as to do with the final voting being completely fair and unbiased. Cough.
Unfortunately, that it was the entire building, and we do have the marketing team in our building as well. So,
Yeah.
I raised an eyebrow at the fact that 2 marketing people got through, but
And who's on
Never
the
mind.
judging panel? Well, say
Well, it was-
anyone from marketing, for instance, on the judging panel.
yeah, marketing manager, claims manager, finance manager, you know.
That's all I have to say.
Trying not to be biased, but yeah, that was that and keeping up with as much games as I possibly could over this week, because I've been busy playing and keeping my skills up to date on what I could play.
Yeah. Playing games is tough nowadays. We're going through a
Yeah.
period of game dry, which is a medical condition
Yeah.
for when
Well,
games
I'm-
dry up.
I'm looking back at my backlog going, I could play that, because there isn't anything out at the moment. And so yeah, I've been doing that, watching some telly. I've been introduced to a new anime series that I will be talking about for Done and Dusted.
I watched a film that I'll be talking about for Done and Dusted.
Jeez, I could talk about anything for Done and Dusted.
Well, why don't you then?
I will do.
Oh,
Yeah.
I'll see how it is.
And I came down to see the guys. I saw TK and Hedgie very briefly because he's working.
Hedgie works,
so,
yeah. After his week and a bit off, or week and a half, or 2 weeks off.
Yeah, so I briefly saw the guys, hang out with Robin and that for a little bit as well, because I'm trying to see people a bit more after kind of hermiting a little bit
Oh, yeah.
after me realising I couldn't do roleplay for a while. So
Yeah.
Robin. I haven't seen Robin for ages.
I might pop into Waterstones and see Robin. I imagine he's not going to be too busy this time of the year. Post Christmas.
yeah, I think you'd probably be surprised.
Oh, really? Oh, is it busy in there?
Well, it normally is busy. He normally looks like it's busy.
Well, he normally looks like he's busy.
Even though he tastes like he's busy.
You know what Robin tastes like?
You don't?
That was a good question to answer a question with.
You never know. He may actually ask how you know, because he does occasionally listen to the show.
That's not a question. You lose.
Does he have a flavour?
But yeah, my weekend was filled with seeing the guys. This coming week, pretty much just trying to keep up with things again. I've got my cleaning rota this week, so I'll be doing cleaning this week and a few other things before
Cleaning?
Valentine's Day.
You live an exciting life, my friend.
Well, I've got this month the Works annual presentation thing going on in 2 weeks' time.
Yeah.
So that's coming round with the inevitable 3-hour sit-through presentations, have a meal, and then, if you want, get completely bladdered.
Yep.
So, But the week before it, I've got to do the call supporting for our Stockport office. So the Friday before, I'll be sat there cursing and swearing whilst I'm taking all of the calls in the world ever.
Ah. You have
Well, we're currently trying to implement plans to reduce the number of calls we're taking. I'm hitting the highest number of calls I've ever taken since I've joined the company on a
Nice.
daily basis.
Well done you.
Yes.
I like the way that Alex has kind of, in his sitting up straight attempt, managed to completely...
Slouch back into my normal position.
Yeah, not only slouch, but completely dethrone the sofa of its cover as well.
Ah, yeah.
The lazy slob. So how is the lazy slob?
Albert Felix.
That's you, Alex. Yeah.
Oh, me. Yeah, not bad. I just been quite busy this past week. I spent literally one evening at my house, and I wasn't even completely by myself.
Dun-dun-dun.
Most evenings literally consist of me getting home about 11 o'clock, going pretty much straight to bed.
What do you do to get home at 11?
Things. Stuff. I do stuff. Well, Monday I do this. Tuesday I went out. What did I do Tuesday? I don't even remember.
I've got a question for you as well.
What's that?
Under your left arm, do you perhaps have a hole?
I do indeed.
I thought so. The red shirt is quite prominent through it.
Yeah, well, I'm not dying, okay, so...
It does look like a bit of a stab wound.
Wednesday I have my usual meet-up, which means I get home late.
Yep.
Thursday... Oh, I know what I did Tuesday and Thursday. I stayed around my girlfriend's.
Ah.
And I did Friday as well. Actually, no, I stayed at hers, then her parents came back from their holiday.
Oops.
So I met them, which I was going to do anyway, but it was quite a shock.
It's like, oh, hi.
Hi, yeah.
Did they catch you in the act?
No, luckily. No, it was after they had went to bed that my girlfriend had said, yeah, that was good that they came back early. I was like, why? Yeah, no.
They might have been less happy to see you.
That would have been the first meeting as well.
It's like, oh, hi, parents. Excuse me while I bone your daughter.
Oh, God, no.
Most embarrassing capture ever.
Saturday, I went to London to play games and to also go to a One Piece concert, an orchestrated music.
That is a concert devoted to the music of One Piece and not just an orchestra consisting of only one instrument.
Yeah, don't worry about that. And then Sunday, I went to Basingstoke for ice skating.
Yeah.
So it's been a very busy week. And that was the one day I had a bit of time to myself when I got back.
Which you were going to waste here and then decided that you fancied it on your own.
Yeah.
Because quite frankly, after that week, yes.
Because I was like, I got back from Basingstoke and I was like, I need to sit and vegetate. So I ended up watching like most of Community season 5. Yeah, it was good. Oh, so good.
Word to the wise. If you have a build-up of phlegm, try to swallow it. Don't inhale it. It's really bad for your health.
It is indeed. Listen to the words of the wise man.
Yeah. Uh-huh. So yeah, you've had a quite busy week.
Yeah.
It's like the polar opposite of my week.
Yeah, what's your week been then?
My week has been spent time doing work at work, as you do.
As you do.
Getting ready because it's our training for life products this week, of which I've had the first day off, and holy shit, they're confusing.
As it is.
Yep. Life insurance is hard. Don't get into it. It's tricky. What else have I been doing this week? I've seen a couple of films, watched a lot of YouTube, vegetated quite a bit, had a couple of early nights due to being tired and stuff. Because, 6 o'clock in the morning starts will do that to you. Stupid. Getting up at 6 o'clock and work at 8. Grumble, grumble, grumble. Yeah. Shut up! That's what I have to say on the matter. I've been looking for somebody to play Beast Sphere with, but couldn't find anyone. But then they released a new version anyway, so we've skipped a generation of Beast Fury. We skipped update 4 or version 5. So,
the update with the broken combo system.
Yeah, we kind of skipped over that one a bit.
Oh.
Yeah, so we're going on to version 6 for the next video, which is awesome. And I now know how to do the ultimate finishers, which is useful. So we'll be playing a little bit in the cheat mode, Alex.
Okay.
Just because hell yeah.
Because he wants to try and show he can beat you.
Oh no, it's not.
And then beat you.
It's not even that. It's a round ender. It's really quite cool. And I haven't really done much else this week. It's been quite a placid week of not very much happening at all, and waiting for deliveries to arrive.
Yeah, that was interesting, waiting for your post office deliveries.
Which I ended up having to go and pick up from the post office in the end. Bastard.
That's Hedgie.
I don't think it was Hedgie's fault. He was in bed. So yeah, it's entirely Hedgie's fault. I'm still waiting for a bit to arrive as well. My little hat pin hasn't arrived yet. Grumble.
That'll get there eventually.
Yeah, it'll arrive yet in its own sweet ass time. I don't have to worry about it until March anyway, so it's all good.
Oh.
And then Hedgie was like, "Oh, you're going to learn the bagpipes as well?" And I was like, "No, because you can't really practice them quietly."
No, you can't.
And then I thought, I wonder how much would it annoy everyone if I did.
I'd stab you in the face.
I then looked at the price of bagpipes on eBay.
And then he decided you were not going to do that.
Actually, it depends. If you get a nice set, they're about 250 odd quid. But if you're just going for cheap, cheerful, and not giving a shit, they're about 45 quid. And I was like, okay,
Oh dear.
this could be hilarious.
Affordable trolls.
Yeah. It's like, Hedgie, I see you're learning an instrument. So am I.
Yeah, here's some advice. Don't do that.
I wouldn't do it around civilized people. Not until I was actually good enough to actually, do it properly. But for just trolling Hedgie, I think 45 quid's a sound investment. Because I'm a bad person.
Yes, you are.
But yeah, it's annoying. I'm watching us on the YouTube feed, and I can see where the hat pin is supposed to go, and it's just not there. And it's like this, really winding me up. Grumble. And I got my knife, well, my fake knife, the knife that isn't a knife, which is cool. That's currently implanted in its proper location. Are you mucking about with your mic for that, Alex?
Yes, because
I can't tell because there's a delay.
it was making. You couldn't hear. Yeah, because there was a.
I kind of a buzzing sound.
Yeah, and so now it's gone.
I couldn't hear a buzzing sound.
I could. It was annoying me.
Must be in your headphones. But yeah, my hat's nice. It comes with little tassely things for no good reason. I'm not quite sure what they're there for, but it's all pretty.
To look pretty.
Yeah, obviously.
Obviously.
And my nice shirt. I quite like these shirts. I don't know what kind of fabric mix they're done with, but they're actually quite, they're supposed to be quite loose fitting, and they're really comfy. It's like really, really comfortable. So much more comfortable than normal dress shirts. And it's like, yeah, I can see why this is casual wear, because this shirt looks nice. Yeah, it's kind of smart casual, but it is really stupidly comfortable.
That's why he's been walking around in it every day.
Yeah.
Yeah, pretty much.
Well, I've been breaking the shoes in, because the shoes, they're being proper dress shoes, they need breaking in. And you've got to get used to wearing these things.
I keep telling you, black shoe polish, put it on, leave it on overnight, softens the leather up nicely, and then you just rub it off and they're soft and clean.
Yeah, that's not going to help your feet get used to how they feel when you're walking in them.
True. That is very true.
And even though you get nice big fluffy socks, they've still got to kind of break in that sole.
You have to break the soul.
Break the sole of the shoe. And then the rest of it will comply.
You must destroy it.
I wouldn't say destroy it. I'd actually like a pair of workable shoes if that's okay, because they're not cheap to replace. Although I've discovered, by typing in the proper shoe name into eBay, you don't get much. But if you put bagpipe shoes, all of a sudden they just appear, and it's like, they're not bagpipe shoes though, they're brogues. It's like, what the metric fuck, people? Seriously.
It's all like brogues.
Yeah.
What the hell is wrong?
Yeah, and have proper names for shoes and shit.
Yeah. Yeah, it's their proper name. They're tongueless shoes. It's really weird having a shoe with no tongue. It's like, okay, this is the strangest thing ever. But they're actually really quite comfy. And as I think I said last week, that I'm quite glad I didn't get the size I ordered. I got the size down because they fit perfectly. So it's like fate was conspiring, going, no, you've ordered too big. They're going to be out of stock now, and your actual size is going to be in stock. And you're going to be appreciative of this. And I was, or am.
And he will be forevermore.
Oh, no. Maybe not forevermore, but certainly for a while.
For a while.
Yeah. And why they're quite new still. They've still got quite a good tap to them. Especially on this wooden floor. And it's got screws holding in the bottom of the base. So you end up inadvertently with a pair of tap shoes. They're like, yeah, I can do tap dancing again. Couldn't do that with trainers.
No, strangely enough, no.
And they're really smooth, so I could probably moonwalk in these shoes as well. That's always good fun. And now I'm just looking for a suitable kind of night out to wear all this shit. Preferably when it's a bit warmer. Because you don't want the wind whistling up your legs.
Well, you don't want to do a Marilyn Monroe and have the wind blow your kilt up.
Indeed. I mean, I don't go True Scots, because it's too cold for that. Quite frankly. Fuck that. Way too cold. In the middle of summer, you'd probably be appreciative of the kind of the air wafting around, going, shit, it's hot. It's not hot up there. But in the winter, no, it's far too cold. It's like there are pants. There are pants for a good reason. It's cold. It's like, I saw a picture on the internet the other day, and it's of 3 types of people. And it's like there was one, there's 2 along the top, 1 on the bottom, and the top one is this group of Americans trying to move this very heavy-looking log thing, and there's like 1 million of them surrounding this pole. And next to it, you've got a Russian woman holding a very similar pole of similar length and girth, just on her shoulders, looking at the Americans, going, "Oh, how cute." And then in the bottom panel is a Scotsman tossing the caber. And it's like, yeah, clear victory. It's like, how the fuck do they lift that shit? Never mind throw it. It's like, fuckers. Yeah, so I'm never going to be a proper Scotsman. I got the muscles. I'm too skinny. Too skinny, too weak.
Yeah, you're the palest Englishman Scotsman I've ever did see.
Buck Englishman. But yeah, my happy.
Well, I think we've filled the weeks then, really.
I think we've had a better time there, yeah.
We have indeed.
Is this you hinting that you want another segment?
Well, we're waffling, so probably best.
We waffle anyway.
Yeah.
And we have killed 20 minutes quite successfully, so... On with the next segment!
Now it's time for the latest gossip from the Silicon Grid. This is the gaming news.
That's loud.
It's not.
So
it's just
as
your headphones
everyone
are on.
watches Alex play with his phone,
I'm busy preparing.
Here's the researching
It is
news.
the gaming news, and courtesy of Felix, I've got some news of my own, but I'm going to give his one because it's quite interesting. League of Legends competition places discriminatory limit on LGBTQ players, which is really interesting because there's the tournament in Philippines. The Esports League Garena Philippines is currently limiting the amount of lesbian, gay, and transgender women who can compete in the all-women tournaments of League of Legends, saying, and I quote, may probably have some unfair advantage if they are LGBT. How?
yeah, to
How?
make sure everyone's aware, they have come back out and said that it was a stupid decision and reversed it.
No. Riot Games forced them to do that.
Yes, the official people, but I when I originally saw this, I wasn't entirely sure on why they were suggesting it. Anyway, because it's like
I don't understand how in esports, women and men are. It's not like traditional sport where you have female and male because they're physically different, right?
yeah.
Esports is mind. I know people say, women and men are different in the mind. Well, actually, they're not that different, as it turns out. And I can't remember a scientific study. It was like, we're essentially 80% the same or something in the brain.
Effectively, yeah.
We're
So
just all wrong, that's all.
there is no real, men are better than women or women are better than men. It's basically free for. That's why I like not esports, but I like games and the fact that it's a more even playing field.
It levels things out a lot.
It does.
Yeah.
Well,
I mean, Sorry.
go on.
Yeah, I mean, I can understand why they might want to limit it because potentially you're talking about the number of high-profile interest cases, shall we say, that could come out of the teams rather than it being about the game.
You're thinking more of drama.
Yeah, that's the word.
Why would drama come out for? What? They are limiting lesbians. Okay, you're not allowed more than one lesbian on your team because otherwise that's unfair.
What about puffs?
I'm afraid you're only allowed to use them to rest your feet on.
Oh, so pretty much like every day then.
Yeah. It just doesn't make sense. I don't understand how this makes sense. It doesn't.
It's weird, and the weirdest thing is they created this rule. I am assuming then they have the numbers that warranted the rule to be in place. And they were concerned of being flooded by adverse numbers of the LGBT community in League of Legends teams.
How could there be an adverse number of them, though?
How are you allowed to not have more than one lesbian on your team?
What is an adverse number of LGBT people?
That doesn't make sense. Why are they any different?
It's like saying there's an adverse number of black people on this team. We must limit this. It's no. It doesn't make a fucking piece of difference at all. What, you're saying just because she's a lesbian, she's going to be better at games? I mean, what is the logical reasoning behind this? She's a lesbian. They pleasure each other with their hands. Therefore, she must have more skillful hands and therefore have an advantage.
Yep,
or something.
Totally.
That's about... Isn't even that a stretch? And I'm just taking the piss. What kind of logic can they come up with?
She has more control of a PlayStation 3 controller because she's so used to vibrations that the rumble shop doesn't affect her when she plays COD. Fucking
We're
dumb.
going down a dark path. We really are.
Are you calling lesbians dark paths? Is this either a vagina joke about tunnels or a rug munching joke? Are you going there, Mr. Xavier? Are you going there?
No, but apparently you want me to, so I'm
pity 'cause
kind
it
of
would've
worried.
been funny.
You might just have to bite your lip and deal with it. Yeah,
Moving on to something completely different.
But then again, I suppose all the League of Legends teams have exactly the same number of LGBT members on their teams as we do on the show tonight. Yeah, see? Representing. I miss our token
moving
female.
Yeah, where is
Moving
Felix?
on. Yeah, you desperately want Felis, yeah. Moving on, Samsung apparently has warned
Yeah.
their smart
They
TVs can
haven't.
listen to your living room chatter.
Samsung haven't warned this. It was a third-party electronics review people type things that did. They spotted a clause in Samsung's privacy policy, which mentioned the fact that anything you say in front of your smart TV can be collected and used as evidence against you in a court of third-party processing. Samsung were keen to stress that yes, your data or conversations will be captured and will be sent to this third party, but this third party do not retain the information, and it is purely used only for processing, for searching for voice commands. So if it doesn't register a voice command, it disregards what it heard. That's what they say.
Yes.
Now, of course, what they say, and what maybe the FBI or GCHQ or whatever are requiring of them, potentially two very different things. But either way, they've basically created the telemonitors for George Orwell's 1984, and you're probably going to want to turn off that shit.
Yeah, I saw that comparison and I just started giggling because it's like you're going to have to be a bit more aware of your personal information when talking in front of the TV.
Yeah. Basically, guys, dear Samsung, here's like an open plea. Did you not pay attention when Microsoft said that the Kinect was going to be always on and always listening for voice commands? Did you not perhaps hear the shitstorm that created that ended up them reversing that policy pretty damn quick? Did that not at all creep into your sphere of attention?
No.
Because if it did, why the fuck didn't you learn from it? And if it didn't, why the hell weren't you paying more attention? Because that was pretty hard to miss.
True. But we are now approaching the time when people want to have a TV that does everything for them. Literally does everything for them.
Now, I can understand why they need to send your voice data off to a third-party processor, because it takes a lot of very expensive servers to do voice processing. This is why when you use Siri or you use OK Google, there's that delay and you have to be connected to the internet. It's because it pings off that data off to a data center to be processed and then sent back so the phone can understand it. Roll on the days when all that can be done on the device. Won't be for a while yet, but roll on those days, because then a lot of these privacy concerns get squashed. Because with Google and Apple, you know that it's going to be sent securely. With Samsung, no such guarantees have been made in that direction yet that I've seen. And so the last thing you want is for somebody to go sniffing in on your packets only to realise that they're receiving voice data and going, hello, 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 what's all this then? Scoop, scoop, scoop. Of course, that's just one privacy concern you may have. Of course, not to forget that these TVs also have cameras in them, and it has been proven on many an occasion that they are quite easy to hack into. And therefore people have been hacking into these intelligent TVs and activating the camera without the user's permission and obtaining photos that way.
Yep, that's one thing that Watch Dogs actually got right.
Yep. The
Yeah,
same with
moving
same
on.
with laptops that have the camera built in as well. Apparently people have been able to hack into those and deactivate the recording light so you don't know the camera's on and just secretly snap away.
Yeah, but there are a couple of ways of actually getting around that one. One is to actually set it up so your settings have it turned off, or stick tape over it.
Yeah, tape's most effective.
Moving on, we have a Twitch streamer making an emotional plea to the hoaxer who swatted him live on Twitch.
Well, that doesn't narrow down much. That's been happening a lot recently.
I know, but this is Joshua Peters. Apparently he's a Clash of Clans RuneScape streamer who said on his stream that he had police point a gun at his little brother because of this stupid hoaxer.
Yeah.
The swatting stuff.
Yeah. Swatting has... Hello?
I can hear your buzzing now, Alex.
Yeah, I know. I don't know what.
Yeah, swatting happens a lot in the US and somewhat in the UK. It's
Even though we
basically
don't
where
have SWAT.
people on the same game call in armed gun threats at these houses.
Yeah, they're reporting like murders and big events like that.
Mhm.
And then the police arrive and go, "Oi!" Then they realise it's all a hoax, but by then it's too late. It's all been captured on live stream.
Yep. Well, Joshua Peters, who apparently served in the US Air Force, broke down in tears on camera after explaining that moments prior, an armed SWAT team of about 10 officers forced their way through his home. They were called while he was playing RuneScape in front of an estimated 60,000 viewers.
Ouch.
Yeah. His mother came along and he had to take his headset off while she explained that officers had entered the house. Moments later, he returned to explain his family had been raided by the police due to a fake distress call. It was one of Peter's 10-year-old brothers who answered the front door when the police arrived.
Oh, guns
Yeah.
blazing.
And especially seeing as how there's been some questions over how certain raids have gone ahead, I can understand why he's a bit pissed.
Mm-hmm. Although, did you hear one of the swatters got arrested?
Yep, they did.
Good.
And he's being charged. So, all the swatters out there, you're not quite as anonymous as you think you are. And eventually, you will fuck up, and they will get you.
Well, I was reading one reporter was actually just looking through Twitter to see the people who are like sending the ridiculous hate threats and things like that, and he would talk to them just to get information.
Mm-hmm.
And when I say talk, it's literally a couple of lines of leet speak and generally agreeing with sentiment until they give something like their PlayStation ID, which is linked to Facebook,
And from
and
there,
then
it's all
suddenly you
downhill.
know where they live.
Yeah. Now, you see, I don't Facebook using my real name because of reasons, and I don't keep any location information on Facebook. I was thinking about it, and then I realised that Facebook uses Bing for their maps, and I was like, no.
No.
I will trust Google with my mapping information. I will not trust Microsoft. That can fuck right off.
Could be worse. Could be Apple.
Oh, there's no worry about Apple having your address. They can't fucking find it. Yeah, his address is somewhere in this river. That's where he lives. Yes,
But it does go to show though that a lot of these people that everyone starts waving fingers at as the trolls and that, a lot of them are just stupid, immature kids who really are just blowhards.
Yeah.
Anyway, more news from the room.
More news. I will give you news in just a second.
I actually had a piece of news. I forgot what it was now.
I have news. Don't provide.
Felix has been providing.
He has been provided.
Yeah, and Alex, who's been sat in front of us.
Oh, yeah, here it is.
running behind.
Wait. Whoa. Do you want to go?
I'll take this one.
Okay.
Zelda may be coming to Netflix.
Yep.
Now, this is a report I read and then Felix is also linked to. Apparently, Nintendo and Netflix are in talks for making a live-action Zelda TV series.
Yeah.
Neither has made a comment at the current time about it when reached for questioning, but obviously they are in talks if it's been hinted at.
Apparently the show is in embryonic form, meaning they don't even have a script yet. It's in very much its early concept phase. And Felix has commented he expects at least one "Excuse me, princess" comment. So, yeah, there you go. You got one.
Zelda!
Was that "Excuse me" from the TV, from the cartoon?
Yeah, from...
Because I've
Dear
not
God.
watched that. I've heard the "Excuse me,
Well,
princess," 'cause
excuse me, princess.
apparently that was a constant thing.
Yeah, it was his catchphrase. I don't know why.
Worst catchphrase ever.
Well, it's like Mario, isn't it? It's like this poor sod is constantly going out to save Zelda, who's always getting captured.
He doesn't always save Zelda, actually.
Yeah, occasionally.
No, sometimes he
French
saves the
boat.
world, yeah, true.
But I think Link's got it easy. I mean, what's his enemy? A talking pig. Oh, threatening. It's not like a giant fucking lizard that can spit fire and shit. Bowser's-
Well, what about Majora's Mask?
what was his enemy there? The moon?
It was some bizarre kid thing, wasn't it, that had
Skull
the
Kid.
all-powerful mask?
Oh no, a child! What a devious and deadly adversary!
But that caused the end of a a city.
Maybe because you want to see the moon close up.
Shishi.
I mean, if you
Yeah.
can't go to the moon, then you bring the moon home.
Link's Awakening, that wasn't. And the same for the Minish Cap. The same for Oracle of Seasons and Oracle of Ages. A Link to the Past is Ganon, yeah, I think it is, yeah.
But then
A Link
does-
Between Worlds.
Does Link ever have to go up against Bowser in anything that isn't Smash Brothers? No, therefore
Well,
Mario
no.
gets the better boss.
Mario only gets one boss, jeez. So
yeah, but what a
boring.
boss.
Nah.
TK's quietly fapping away over Bowser.
Sad but true.
Alright. PlayStation Store's bestseller in January was in none other than, in fact, Resident Evil HD. Which is quite interesting, as people are claiming it's a 20-year-old game, has beaten games such as Dying Light,
Yeah.
which are, more modern zombie things.
For those interested in watching a bit of Dying Light, I believe Xavier has done a video of it for the TigerTails gaming channel.
Yeah, the first bit, which I could actually record without too much of frame loss, yeah.
Which is over at tigertailsgaming.co.uk, don't you know?
Don't you know?
So you can always go and check that out and watch Xavier's video.
And me getting fucking vertigo.
Oh, really? Were you ill?
Did you? Oh, the game ended with that section ended with me going over the crane on the buildings, and it did exactly the same as every other game. It's like, oh, that's height, that looks real, that's not good. And then it went, oh yeah, the wind will make you sway and make it feel as if it's unstable.
Haha!
I can't wait for Oculus Rift.
Fuck you.
Yeah, we're going to make you play Five Nights at Freddy with Oculus Rift, Mr. Alex. Yeah. Five Nights at
I
Freddy
will
2.
punch you in the face so hard.
Love you in the face, mouth.
My fisted will love you in the mouth. Many times.
We were talking about news before this. Oh yes, it was Resident Evil. That's
Yeah,
it.
no, it got the top digital spot on the PlayStation 3 and 4. Coming second was Minecraft. Fucking hell, it's still so popular.
Yep.
Oh yeah.
There's lots of 12-year-olds who still don't own it yet. Alex loves
Moving.
Minecraft.
Yeah.
Yep.
Moving on.
Have you got a nice long piece of news?
Relatively.
Good, I'm going to replace Alex's mic cable, so I'm going to have to turn Phantom Power off for a moment.
Okay. Well, moving on then. Whilst they're turning the mics off, are you gone yet?
No.
It's a shame. Are you gone yet?
No. Just say the goddamn piece of news.
So, EA execs have come out and said, or an EA exec has come out to say, our games are too hard to learn. So this is in response to a lot of their RPG systems at the DICE Summit at Las Vegas. EA Chief Creative Officer Richard Hillman spoke out about how video games are often too hard to learn for new players. He said they're still too hard to learn. The average player probably spends 2 hours to learn how to play the most basic game, and asking for 2 hours of somebody's time, most of our customers between their normal family lives to find 2 contiguous hours to concentrate on learning how to play a video game is a big ask. And this apparently is in response to a statement from interviewer Pete Holmes, the comedian, who said he would prefer that controller layouts and button maps stay the same for future installments in established series and even across franchise, which I can understand because EA does have a good chunk of long-lasting franchises, and they have changed the controller layouts and things in between them, which is always frustrating. Also on an on-stage interview was Middle-earth Shadow of Mordor design director, who said he thinks we'll see more and more games adopt RPG systems in the future. So this was the game that took a fair few Game of the Years last year. He states, every game now is an RPG. You wouldn't make a game without progression and levels and XP, and I think every game is going to be a social game. Good ideas propagate. So it's interesting to see some of the stuff that comes out of the DICE talks, especially from the EA exec, which is just hilarious when you compare current games to old games, because I can't say current Zelda is harder than original Zelda. I really can't say any of the current Zeldas are harder.
Is that because the original Zelda was made entirely of dicks?
Yes.
Basically.
I played or tried to play the original Zelda, and I missed 8 directions. Circular movement.
And what about Zelda 2? Hey look, it's a 2D platformer now. Hey!
It was still apparently a good game. It's just everyone raged the fact it wasn't a top-down.
Yeah.
So what are your thoughts on
there you go, Alex.
EA?
On what?
On EA exec saying games are too hard to learn.
Oh.
I think he's a pussy.
I think he wasn't around when games were actually hard.
We should give him a NES and some games and watch him cry.
Yeah.
Cry salty tears of pain.
Why are there no checkpoints? Get used to it.
Oh my god, I've died 3 times and it's game over! I don't get it! Why stop the game now? I've only died 3 times!
Why can't I suck my thumb? Why is my health not regenerating?
Let him play DuckTales, that'll fuck him over. Or Mega Man.
Any more news from the room, guys?
Mega Man is hard. There you go, there's some news.
Yes.
It's not current, but it's
Yes, we have news. I obviously have more news, but now I'm going to have to get it up again. A little quick thing.
Oh, sorry, just to interrupt. Anybody here thinking about using Patreon?
No, because I need to, have some followers beforehand.
Yeah, well, if you have Patreon and you're in the EU, ditch it now, ditch it faster than now, have ditched it already.
Why?
You may or may not be aware that at the start of the year, some new VAT rules came into effect, affecting all of Europe. And it basically was about digital content distribution within the EU and from EU sellers to outside of the EU. In other words, if you had a system that automatically provided content without the aid of a human being involved, and this music, videos, etc., 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 that was paid for, instead of the person handling the money necessarily being responsible for the VAT registering and telling of HMRC or the respective body, it fell upon the content creator to do that. Now, some companies would be able to say, actually, no, we deal with all that, we'll do it. So places like Bandcamp and others all turn around and says, no, don't worry, we'll do all the tax reporting for you. Patreon have turned around and said, we ain't touching that shit with the barge pole, sorry. So, if you have Patreon and you want to stay tax legal, you have to declare every single donation you have, who donated, where they're living, in other words, their address and postcode and details, and if they're kind of tax exempt or not. You have to get their tax status. Yeah, and if you don't, then HMRC or whatever European court deals with tax are within their rights to come down on you like a ton of bricks, with heavy fines or potentially even court.
Heavy brick fines.
Very heavy. So if you have Patreon and you're accepting donations and you're delivering content, then if you're not declaring all of this shit, you're fucked. Because Patreon are going, nope, well, we don't have to do that at all. No, it's between the content creator and the end user. All we do is just get the money and distribute the money where it needs to go. We don't touch anything about the distribution of the actual content, so nothing to do with us at all.
Oh.
Now, it's worth noting that Patreon have taken their advice from PricewaterhouseCoopers. PricewaterhouseCoopers, as you may or may not know, have been recently outed as one of the companies most responsible for aiding tax evaders in the world, and are known for their past very dodgy tax dealings and creative accounting. So a lot of people are quite upset with PricewaterhouseCoopers and Patreon themselves, because it suddenly means that all that time the content creator has normally spent creating content now has to be spent doing VAT filing and trying to obtain addresses from people who they've sent content to and trying to get their tax status, which is a massive pain in the balls. And as someone who has very light dealings with taxation, yeah, that shit's difficult. And especially if you're quite a popular Patreon user and you have many people subscribing to you on Patreon and sending you money, that's a metric fuck ton of work as well. That's a fuck ton of work. You can't even begin to imagine just how much work if you have a lot of people donating to you on Patreon. It gets to the point where it could actually take up more time than you would spend creating content, which means the amount of content you put out is less, which means your income will be less, and it's all a bit of a slippery spiral. And Patreon are going, nope, we're not moving on this, definitely nothing to do with us, go away. So if you have Patreon and you're within the EU, or you distribute content to the EU, then yeah, good luck with that. That's what I can say.
Get yourself an accountant.
Yeah, they're expensive. And if you're a one-man band, i.e. a YouTuber, who makes a moderate amount, not much, but just enough to live by, maybe, just enough to pay your bills if you're one of these people who've gone kind of semi-pro on YouTube, you're not going to have the money for an accountant. Because accountants are expensive. Because they deal with a lot of very difficult number crunching. And they charge a lot of money for that number crunching. Which is fair and fine. Because I now know how much number crunching they do. And I think they're worth every penny. Just like with financial advisors, I now appreciate them a lot more. Especially after I got chatting to a financial advisor who told me exactly what he charges, then told me his bills and outlays. And all of a sudden, his rates were suddenly not quite so bad after all. And it's like, oh shit, so really, for all the fucking work you do, you're not actually getting all that much money at the end of the day, are you? And he was like, no. So yeah, I can appreciate just how much work Patreon is putting upon its users, and I think it's a bit shitty.
Oh, there's the news that you were talking about. Finally.
What's that?
Yeah. Vatmos, not our problem.
Vatmos, yeah. VAT mini one-stop shop. Very much a pain in the dick, especially if you actually then start browsing the HMRC website related to it and the links, and just realising how put upon these poor people are.
Their taxes page went offline. That's Patreon's.
Now, did that just crash offline, or did they take it away?
Not entirely sure, but there is a link to what it says. If you're in the US and you make over $600 a year, you'll need to complete. Oh, it's for tax.
In the US.
If you're international, you'll need to complete a W8 Ben form for our records in case of an audit. We will not file a 1099 form. Patreon does not withhold any taxes from your funds raised on Patreon. Please consult your tax professional to understand your tax obligations.
Yep. Them's distancing themselves so quickly.
Literally, you would have to get an accountant.
Pretty much. Can you afford an accountant? I hope so, people.
I can't afford subscribers, TK.
Yeah, exactly.
Dear God. So, any other news aside from that?
Metal Gear Solid 4 producers indie stealth game Republic has been remastered for PC.
Ooh.
Now,
Republic? Wow.
Yeah. It's a complete overhaul of the original game, and it's been remastered in Unity 5. And it will be the first commercial game released in Unity 5.
Ooh, I'm on Unity 4.6 at the moment. It's shiny.
And, the original on the iOS and Android, wasn't it?
Mm-hmm.
I think it was quite fun, actually. It was like a episodic stealth adventure game, as it's described here on this lovely article that I'm reading. And it's not even finished yet, from what I understand. The first 3 episodes are out, of which you can buy on Steam, a standard edition for $25, which I assume will be something like £30, because that's how it works out,
Yep. We get screwed.
We get fucked. And then obviously it'll give you pre-orders available for episode 4 and 5.
Oh, cool.
Oh, it's this one. Yeah, where you use your mobile to access the security cameras where you're watching the main characters sneak around.
Yep. It follows a sort of a George Orwellian dystopia. It looks really fun. When I've seen it being played on the iPhone, it's pretty fun actually.
It does look interesting from what I remember of it. It's nice to see that coming back because I like those kind of ideas. I may not necessarily play it, but I do like those kind of ideas.
Yeah. Now, something interesting that I found, a lovely interesting article, is about did Felix give me this one? No, I saw this one. Yeah, I saw this one. Me.
Claimed ownership.
Now, I don't know how many people out there actually know of Richard Garriott. I assume Pete does.
Richard Garriott, that's the guy who created Ultima.
Exactly, yep. His new RPG has approached $7 million in crowdfunding. And he sees that the game will be released, the game being called Shroud of the Avatar. Released this year, along with a trilogy of book series.
Ew.
Which is kind of interesting. And I've read this article because I actually didn't even know that he was still out creating games. But basically, he wants to create a modern day Ultima. He wants to bring stuff that he brought to people back in the day, but modernized.
Wow.
Which sounds good because the game is apparently a spiritual successor to his game, Ultima. Or not his, it's EA's now, but not really care. And he said that the past 14 months have been incredible. He's learned so much about the way of a modern RPG crowdfunding game is made. They've updated it 14 times so far, once a month, and just put random stuff in as they've been developing it. And apparently it's been keeping people interested because they have 150,000 people have signed up for it, and only 50,000 of those are backers.
Nice.
And they have spent no money on advertising at all, no marketing at all.
Sweet.
They've just done it basically the
Word
Ed
of
Boon
mouth.
way. Yeah,
Ed Boon's good at that. In fact, I've got a little bit of news about that next. So.
Yeah. And I would recommend anybody who liked Ultima games to obviously check this out, just in case this is your thing. But I did read there's a little thing over here about how Lord British is actually not EA's character, it's still Garrett's character.
Yep, he created the character for the universe and effectively his own personal character in the game.
Yeah, Ultima is his, but when they realized Origin developer Origin was brought by EA, and then EA said, "Oh, unless we have Ultima, we're not buying you."
Yeah.
And Garriott actually owned Ultima. Origin, the developers, did not own it. So when they went to buy it, they were like, "Oh yeah, we don't want the studio unless you give us Ultima. We need it."
Yeah.
And he said, "You can have it if you don't have Lord British. He is mine."
Oh.
He said, and he quotes him, "I basically said, any place we used him, I'm happy for him to stay, but if you put new words in Lord British's mouth, I have to approve it. So Lord British is mine."
Nice.
Sick guy.
Very cleverly done. And one in the eye for EA.
Yeah.
More news?
Well, they were after it.
I have another piece of news. For those of you who are interested in Mortal Kombat 10 and its development and forthcomingness, there is a new Mortal Kombat X live stream. It's the showdown between Katana versus Reptile. This is a developer live stream, which will be on twitch.tv/NetherRealm. And it's coming February the 12th, which will be Thursday, at 3 p.m. CST. So convert into your own time zone at your own leisure. And you can watch the developers kick butt with Katana vs. Reptile, get all the latest information about Katana that they're releasing. And I won't be able to watch it Because actually, maybe it will. Ooh. Because I've watched a couple of their live streams, and they've been really quite entertaining, really quite informative, and the developers can't play the game for shit. It's hilarious. There's like 3 or 4 people in the office who can actually play the game properly, and all the rest are just random flailing, hoping for best. And it reminds me how I play, so there's hope. But I'm thinking about pre-ordering Mortal Kombat. Everyone says, don't pre-order games. I'm going, yeah, but Mortal Kombat.
Pre-ordering is fine. Pre-purchasing is not.
Okay. Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah. So I'm thinking about pre-ordering. Just go, yeah, here's a £5 deposit now. Make sure I get a copy of the game on release, assholes.
Yeah, because pre-ordering is basically you're saying, okay, Mr. Game Distributor, I'm going to... Not even the developer, Mr. Distributor.
Yeah.
I'm giving you £5. You better give me a copy. Pre-purchasing is, okay, money goes straight to the people who make the game. And that's why it's bad. It's mainly with digital distribution, actually.
Yeah. Well, the pre-purchasing in the shop. I don't even think shops do pre-purchasing, do they?
No, I think they might do with like digital stuff again, but I don't actually know. I don't think they would because it doesn't promote them selling it.
Yeah. But with the pre-order, you actually have to go into the store and go, yeah, okay, give me it now. I've been to the store twice, once to place the pre-order, once to pick it up. So that's 2 opportunities you've had to sell me auxiliary products. Whereas with pre-purchasing, it's just, yeah, send it to my door, bitch. Post it to me. I don't want to go in your crummy store anymore.
Okay, so more news. This will be a bit of big conversation. The new net neutrality plan, and this is the FCC chairman Tom Wheeler who announced his
Pete,
plans
I'm going to stop you.
via.
Pete, I'm going to stop you.
Yep.
Ironically, while you were trying to talk about net neutrality, your connection broke up and we couldn't hear a word you just said.
Yeah, so Tom Wheeler has announced the new plans to regulate wired and wireless broadband under the Title II of the Communications Act. He tweeted this as well. As a result, the internet, according to Wheeler's proposal, will be treated as a utility.
Which means?
Basically, this will mean that it will be kept as neutral as possible. It's like water, hot water,
Yep.
gas, electric.
Yeah.
It's weird I actually have to say hot water because America have piped hot water.
What?
Yeah, they have piped hot water.
What the fuck? Can't these people have
That- that-
boilers in their own house?
No, they have air conditioning. It's a whole different world.
That's what. Do they even need pumped hot water? Surely they need pumped cold water, as in water that's been pre-chilled. Surely it comes hot as standard.
But he says that they'll be applying for Title II status to ensure the concept of net neutrality, which essentially means keeping broadband open to everyone. The new rules will ban internet service providers from blocking or throttling broadband access.
Ooh.
These enforceable bright line rules will ban paid prioritization, blocking and throttling. I propose to fully apply for the first time ever those bright line rules to mobile broadband.
Okay.
My proposal assures the rights of internet users to go where they want, when they want, and the rights of innovators to introduce new products without asking anyone's permission. And the FCC is expected to vote for this on February the 26th.
Okay.
So there's a lot of this coming out. I mean, even Obama swung into it when it looked like the FCC was going to fall more on the lines of with what the ISPs were asking for, which was a 2-tiered system where you could then pay for better broadband speeds, or they would charge people like Netflix and that for those costs because they felt it wasn't fair that Netflix had the most draw on the bandwidth.
Yeah, but even the creator of the internet himself has weighed in on this and said, no, I created it with the idea that it would be, equal. That's how it works. You can't make it not equal or it fucks up. Well, it doesn't fuck up, but basically the whole idea about the internet is then, yeah.
Well, it becomes a priority service, doesn't it? If you can afford the extra £50 a month, you'll get your fast broadband.
As you used to. It'll basically be like, oh yeah, so, the rear which it currently evolves, oh yeah, if you pay more, you'll get that. Otherwise, we're just going to give you what we had 5 years ago.
I mean, I'm not
If you're
too kind of upset about how we do it here in the UK, where if you're on broadband, you can generally play up to a certain speed because of physical restrictions. And if you're on fibre, you can either get the kind of the less bandwidth flavour, which you don't get all the speed with, or you can pay for the faster one. But what that doesn't do is disrupt packets between you and the content provider you're trying to serve from. So it's like, yeah, you're capped at, say, 40 meg down, but that's more than enough for Netflix and stuff, and they're not going to cap you for going to Netflix. It's an overall cap. And so it's not too bad. Or you can pay that little bit extra, because it is only a little bit extra, and go for as fast as the bit of cable between your house and the world will allow.
Yes.
And I'm okay with that system. It's not brilliant, but it does mean that I get nice quick internet. And not enough people in my local area have signed up for the same service to completely destroy my internet. Which is nice. Because there's a lot of them out there. Bastards. And I don't know how BT do it, but I know Virgin, if you have too many customers on the same line, everyone's internet goes at snail's pace.
That's because they, put everything on one line to try and avoid costs or something ridiculous.
Yeah, it's like one long street will have basically one pipe going through, and everyone feeds off that one pipe. And it goes, oh, everyone else using the internet at the same time. Bye-bye speed, wave bye-bye. It go bye-bye now. And then your router resets 3 times a day or something. It's stupid.
Pretty much. Moving on, further news about the partnership program from Nintendo.
They've scrapped it?
No, it's still going. Nintendo responded by saying that they have had to extend the waiting time for video approval due to higher volume than expected, and this is despite people like PewDiePie and other big YouTubers saying that this program sucks.
Higher uptake than expected, as in somebody uptook it.
Probably, but they say they've been inundated with requests. The backlog is so long that the 72-hour wait time, which is bad enough, has been extended. Nintendo, as we mentioned before, has the authority to take all ad revenue after Google's cut from any YouTube video that features its copyright content.
That's an important caveat to bring in.
Yeah. However, if you send the videos to Nintendo for approval, you can potentially have the ad revenue split.
Well, split. You can basically try and claw back some of your pennies.
Yeah. But also following this, the white paper that showed which games you could stream, record, etc., showed a certain omissions, such as Smash Brothers, Pokemon, and Bayonetta.
Oh, really?
Yep.
Hey, that's what I'm surprised about. I mean, Pokemon and Smash basically sell themselves. But Bayonetta, I'd have thought that they'd have wanted to get a bit more advertising out there for it, just in case someone who wasn't too enamoured with the original may want to take a peek at the second one.
Yeah, which would be nice, but yeah, they've published the whitelist. There'll be certain games it will approve. Super Smash Brothers for Wii U being the most glaring. A lot of people are still not happy about this because it is literally missing out on free advertising, and a lot of the people, like he says, aren't watching it for the games, because I'm not watching Smash Brothers videos for the Smash Brothers. I'm watching it because
of the people
I watch. Yeah, they're shit talking and doing their usual stuff. I mean, it's the same reason why people would watch our Talks Over video for, say, like Bomberman. You're not watching it for us to play Bomberman because we suck.
Yeah, you guys suck.
Yeah, speak for yourself. That was pretty good. And by which, our Bomberman video, no one could hear us anyway due to a fault with the recording.
Yeah, we'll have to do another one.
Dr. Robotnik's Mean Bean Machine, on the other hand.
What about it?
Just the video of you doing nothing but saying the word fuck, if I recall. And blaming everyone under the sun for the fact that you were failing miserably at it.
No, blaming you. Blaming you for making me play that ridiculously hard game.
Yeah, it's not ridiculously hard. Ah, appropriate music is appropriate.
Anyone who's from the room.
I'm afraid you're never going to be a grandmaster.
Yeah, I still can't believe that chap got the Grandmaster status.
Yeah.
That was pretty awesome.
It was. I've got something here. about
Is it typhoid?
no, it's gonorrhea.
Anti-vaccine can't protect against that.
Right, let it load up because like my phone is terrible. Counter-Strike match fixing results in more pro player bans for
Oh yes.
core of $1 million tournament. So in the latest and greatest of the Counter-Strike pro scene, if you can call it that anymore. Yeah. Valve have issued a new round of bans to pro Counter-Strike Global Offensive players in advance of next month's ESL tournament in Katowice, Poland.
Basically, they should just ban all the pro players.
Yeah, basically.
It seems like it's going to be harder to find someone who isn't cheating than to find someone who is. You know?
Well, this was betting on the matches.
And then throwing them accordingly.
Yeah.
Which is kind of cheating.
Yeah.
A lot.
I don't understand it. I don't understand it. It's not like the mafia is involved.
Yeah, but it's getting more money. People just see it as a way of getting more money, and they don't think it matters because it's just a game.
Yeah, but in my opinion, I'd rather go for the win than have anything else.
Oh yeah, same for me. I mean, if I think I've got an opportunity to win a game, I want to win the game. But I suppose that there are people out there who don't. Because remember, we've had people who lose games to drop down.
Let's change the circumstances a bit, guys. Just say you're all on a team. Let's say 5 people, of which you are 2 members. Your team is pretty shit hot, and you're pretty much the favourites to win. You check out the local bookies to find out that the odds for you losing are quite tasty odds, and that a small bet, say 20 quid, could net you quite a large turnaround. Do you go, oh, but I still want to win, like a normal person would? Or do you go, if our team loses, we'll get a much bigger payday than we would if we won? Which one do you want to do, guys? Shall we put a bit of money on this match and then throw the fight and go ka-ching, like the greedy bastards would? Or do we play the game normally, like sensible people, and just enjoy our smaller payout but the moral victory?
It's not even about the moral victory, it's knowing that you're the better player. I think that's the thing that excites me about winning, is it?
Well, they know that they're the better players, that's...
You don't know that if you don't play.
Well,
you don't play the
They
win.
also don't care about it.
Yeah.
They go for the money.
Scumbags.
Exactly.
Moving on, comment out from Naughty Dog. Getting Uncharted 4 to run at 60 frames per second is really fucking hard.
Yeah, well, if you wouldn't keep cramming your game full of so much pretty, it might be easier.
Now, they had said they were previously targeting 60 frames per second for the upcoming PS4 game.
Yep.
But the studio has since backed away from that objective somewhat, saying it wants to do what's best for a Thief's End, even if it means sub 60 frames per second. Now, they've talked about it. Game director Neil Druckmann says achieving that frame rate is no simple task. They will keep pushing and optimizing to make it look the best as it can, though he wouldn't say if 60 frames is a benchmark for the developer to achieve. And as he said, it's really fucking hard.
What I don't get is why everyone's shying away from frame rates like 50 or 40. Okay, I can understand 40, but 50, for instance. What's so bad about 50 frames per second?
I don't know what the difference is between 30 and 60, because it's like when they did The Hobbit.
It was 48.
Yeah, that's slightly, and
Yeah, but that's
when you see real life in slightly higher frames per second, like when they did
Video Game High
the recent, yeah, that's the one. It just didn't quite look natural,
No, but then
which is weird.
You watch video games at 60 frames per second, and it still doesn't look all that natural to me. Anything above, even above 25 really, starts looking a little bit unnatural. That's why I really cocked a shit when Thomas Tank Engine went up to 30 frames a second, because they stopped looking like physical things and started looking like models again. And everything just started looking so artificial and fake. Because
Yeah,
it was, and it was a much better tune on reality. And so, I'm not really seeing... Once you get above 30 frames a second, then you're going to be entering into that territory. And yeah, 60 is a pretty number, and it's divisible by 30 exactly. But what's the big deal for achieving exactly 60? What's wrong with slightly less frames, like 50? It's still much higher than 30, so you're going to be getting that extra level of smoothness. But why is 60 the big go-to number? I mean, if there's a huge technical reason for it, in relation to screen refresh rates and things like that, then yeah, okay, I can understand a 60 frames per second push. But if it's just to make it look a bit smooth, then sorry, no, that's bullshit.
It's really hard to find out why, because whenever you start asking the question on Google, why is 60 frames per second so important, you suddenly get does frame rate matter, and opinions more than actual evidence.
Does frame rate matter? Yes. But to what degree does the frame rate matter?
Probably about 22 degrees Celsius.
Oh, okay, okay, fair enough.
Lastly from me then, Mike Tyson's Punch-Out! You remember that one?
The original, the remake, or the remake?
No, you mean there's only... Okay, Mike Tyson's Punch-Out is the one for the NES.
The original.
The classic NES one.
The others have just different titles.
Oh, do they? Okay.
Yeah. Because they can...
Could be the licensing. Yeah, okay, that makes sense.
So, this was beaten by a blindfolded player.
This is old news.
Yeah, this is every video game...
This is last year's AGDQ.
I thought it was every year's AGDQ.
No, they have other blindfold events, but basically last year's...
I watched his blindfold Punch-Out. That was awesome.
There was 2 blindfold Punch-Out ones. There was Mike Tyson's Punch-Out and Super Punch-Out.
Oh, really?
Yeah, that was last year.
Ah. I think I watched Mike Tyson, because I remember him fighting against Mike Tyson and just avoiding all the RNG like a pro.
Yeah.
Well, he says he's the first person to defeat all 14 fighters.
Mm-hmm.
Well, including
and there's a video that's been put out. He previously had... Oh, yeah, the final one was the toughest fighter by decision. Let's see... He states he's the first human being that we know of that's gone 14-0 in Mike Tyson's Punch-Out blindfolded. 13 fighters have jab patterns they can memorize. Tyson is hard enough because...
One punch KOs, and he has random patterns. The guy was explaining that before he played him. He said that Mike Tyson punches, like, he has a 1 delay, a 2 delay, a 3 delay, and a 4 delay. So, he had to guess randomly while he was playing.
Yeah. Sinister One was the person who reached the Tyson fight during the speed running event Awesome Games Done Quick 2014.
Yep.
And he said the odds of beating Tyson blindfolded are similar to those for winning Powerball and basically can't be done. And apparently the video on YouTube shows the Tyson fight and how it all went down, and that was around about 27 minutes. I'll stick a link in the notes. But this was an emulated version of the Punch-Out played on Wii, not the original NES version.
It won't be counted.
He did say, however, he'll take on that challenge next.
If it's emulated, the speedrunning community don't allow it.
I thought they did if it was the virtual console.
If it's a virtual console, yeah, but if it's actually
he
emulated...
said it was emulated on the Wii.
Did he? Okay.
It's Wii VC.
Yeah, but he even puts an annotation in there to confirm it was using a Wii emulator, and he has since done other runs on an actual NES, which he has done on Twitch TV.
Mm-hmm. Nice.
But a lot of people are saying he couldn't possibly do it because it shows him facing away from the TV playing, and everyone else is saying, oh, well, clearly there's got to be someone in the background playing this for him, and it's like... The big TV screen that shows the other side of the room. Yeah, no.
DJ brings up a point in channel. He says, well, it is possible to win Powerball because people have. So clearly, if the odds are the same as winning Powerball, then it isn't impossible, just very unlikely.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, but it's interesting the TV kind of argument come out of this because it's like, it's an old game, it's a hard game, people are still finding ways to make it a challenge.
Mm-hmm.
So, just let them do it. Well, that's it from me for the gaming news.
Yeah.
Anything else, Alex?
I don't have anything else. No.
Ah, nor do I. This can only mean one thing, ladies and gentlemen. Can only mean one thing.
TK's not
It's
queued
that
up the
time
advert.
where the cast of TigerTails Radio review stuff badly. This is done and dusted.
And now we'll have it again because Pete talked over it.
Git.
It's that time where the cast of TigerTails Radio review stuff badly. This is done and dusted.
There's always one, isn't there?
There is always one. Normally, that one isn't here today. But,
Yes.
yeah. So someone else had to obviously fill his shoes.
Absolutely. So I have an anime.
Go and see a doctor.
Haha.
No, seriously.
I have
Seriously, go.
Magical Girl Modokai.
No. Puella Magica Madoka. No, Puella Magi Madoka Magica. Get it right.
Yes.
Fucking
Whatever.
hell.
I saw the 2011 release of Tintin.
Oh, yes, you did.
I did, yes. You were in the room
You
when I
actually
watched
stayed,
it.
you stayed awake for it as well.
Mostly. I was tired. Actually, I had a stinking headache during that as well, so I'm actually quite surprised just how much attention I was able to pay for it.
And Alex.
I will think. I'm sure there's something I can do.
Just
but-
before you go into your magical woman anime thing,
Yep.
I just want to bring up the other point we were talking about while watching anime type things. The fan subs for Initial D versus the official subs and then the actual dubbing.
Oh, God.
And just how different they were.
This is Funimation. This was Funimation compared to
The original fan subs from the internet.
the original fan one, yeah.
And we noticed that the original fan subs, oddly enough, give you a little bit more detail than the westernized versions do. For instance, Mogi, the girlfriend of the lead character Takumi, well, let's just say she has a nice job on the side. Basically, it's not quite prostitution, is it? But
No, it's an escort girl.
escort
effectively.
girl. That's the word. Yeah, that's what I was looking for. Escort girl,
Which is basically prostitution.
which is basically beer, but without the sex.
No, it is. This thing includes that.
What?
It's just escort is a
she's-
nicer way of saying
She's
prostitute.
really young, though. Like, is she old enough to be doing that?
Just freaking like middle school girls do it in Japan.
Oh, fuck, really?
Yeah,
Yeah.
they literally be escorts. They don't necessarily sleep with them, but they're like,
There are some that do that.
yeah, we don't condone that, but it's mostly.
We don't condone it. Neither does Japan, but it still happens.
That's not cool, Japan! Seriously, sort your shit out!
Seriously, there's just some odd amount of like middle school and high school girls who want ridiculous amounts of money and like
Yeah.
I can't be fucked. I'll just sell my body.
Oh, fuck it, why not? But, damn.
It's like a problem.
Yeah! That's a word. But yeah, the character Bogi is one of these particular peoples. Unless you're watching the westernized releases, where if you're watching the subtitled version, then it is very much a kind of father-daughter relationship, and they take Papa literally, as opposed to just the name that, like Master Slave, he's called the Master or something like that. She calls him Papa, like a daddy, because creepy.
Sugar daddy, yeah.
Yeah, so they turn it into the father-daughter relationship very much. Whereas in the dub version, they don't dwell on it at all.
Yeah.
It's just like, oh, you spent a lot of money on me. I'm not sure if I can justify that. Oh no, you're worth it because you're special. Yeah.
European translation somehow missed a lot of the subtleties, like the European translation of Sailor Moon. Lesbianism vanished.
And as I mentioned to you, Pete, when one of the future episodes, because you've only seen some of the first episode, haven't you?
Yeah.
You're watching it, and a character wants another character to do something, to take part in a race, and he's not willing. And in the end, she coaxes him into doing it. In the original version, if you watch the fan subtitles, because she promises him her virginity. In the westernized releases, it's a kiss. It's like, that's only really slightly different.
Only a little bit.
This is why you always want to go for the proper Japanese sub.
Yeah, go for the fan subs, people. You're getting honest translation of what's going on. You don't get it watered down for your poor minds.
So I sense that I'm being suggested as going first. So
Oh yes, do.
I was introduced to Puella Madokai Magica.
Madoka.
Or-
Madoka.
Magical girl
Fucking gaijin.
Magica. Dear God.
You say fucking gaijin. What are you when you go over there, peasant?
So
I am
this-
the most
this-
whitest of white people.
So this is from the very much Japanese style genre of magical girls, where young schoolgirls get magical powers because of reasons and fight for justice and liberty. Yeah, I have watched the first 3 episodes. I already have a bunch of theories that I'm interested to see take part, but you'll see why I'm quite enjoying this. It starts off
Wait.
very kawaii.
You're reviewing it even though you've seen the first 3 episodes. Hang on.
I've seen
First
the 3
impressions.
episodes.
Have you not? Do you not know anything about this series?
I know enough, having read the back cover, where they compared it to Neo Genesis Evangelion.
I mean, from the internet.
No, he doesn't.
No, I
How?
don't know all of it.
How have you managed to avoid some of the huge? Well, you must just live under a rock or something.
Hello, Rock here.
It's called Bournemouth. Yeah.
Jeez. Okay, fair enough. You'll enjoy it then.
Oh, I'm looking forward to this.
Oh
'cause
yeah,
if my
you'll
theories pan
you'll
out.
enjoy it.
He wants to see all the girls in their panties.
No. The show starts with the lead character
In her panties.
Madokai having what
Madoka.
appears to be a nightmare. Shut up. Having a nightmare.
Hadouken!
Why does he say it wrong?
Demon.
She witnesses in like this dream state this massive entity being fought by another girl with dark hair, and this bizarre little creature says this girl has no chance on her own, she's undoubtedly going to die, but you can help if you agree a contract and become a magical girl. Cue floral intro.
And prostitution.
No prostitution.
Sorry,
She wakes up
magical
thinking
girl.
this is a dream.
What else does that insinuate? Seriously.
No, there's none of that. Or at least there's none of that
Yes.
I've seen so far. But this starts off that way. It then has this really happy, bouncy intro, really happy. This girl is going to get powers, and then starts off explaining who she is. She's like a high school girl. She's got a few friends. She thinks it's just a dream until the exchange student turns up, who is identical to the girl in her dream. And
Okay.
things start to go a bit more awry, because the exchange girl, in order to speak to Madoka,
Hadouken.
knows that she's the nurse's assistant, despite never having been to the school.
Okay.
Heads to the nurse's office, despite never having been to the school,
She can read signs.
in order to discuss with her this random thing and give her a warning that makes no sense. My first theory on that is, right, time travel, okay. Carry on. And you're introduced to her friend who's got this crush on a violinist and is a little bit depressed about that, and that builds into something later on. You're then introduced to this bizarre cat thing that she saw in her dreams, who calls Madoka through her mind to rescue her. They end up getting lost in this labyrinth. This other girl appears and apparently explains that she's a magical girl, this is a witch, they don't reveal themselves to humans, and she's there to fight this witch. Cue fight. Blah 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 blah. Exposition. Everything has been quite twee and nice so far. And it continues this way. Now, think about sitting there with someone who likes twee and cutesy stuff, watching the first couple of episodes with them. You learn you need to agree a contract.
You're breaking up again, Pete.
dodgy, you get this soul gem.
Now just repeat
Sorry.
everything you just said. Because we didn't hear you because you broke up.
So you get introduced to the idea of a contract which gives you a wish, any possible wish. You get introduced soul gem,
So what?
and witches dropping these things called grief seeds that apparently can,
Alex, what was this whole thing? Because he broke up.
which apparently are important because they can give you more powers.
Grief seeds.
No, before that.
Oh, for God's sake!
Before that, I'm not really paying attention to
Like
him.
soul gems or something. I don't know. We cut out.
Soul gem.
Sophie's. I don't know. What are
Yes.
you talking about, Soul Gem? Are you talking about what the magical girls have?
Yeah, soul gems.
I think it was trying to, but his connection keeps failing.
Yeah, no.
Fuck's
They're things where they get their power from, but they need to recharge them using grief seeds, which are gotten from the witches, which are the
Yeah.
evil things they hunt.
And these little clues are dropped in the first 3 episodes. And you have this lovely build-up where the girl with the magical powers who she's making friends with is a little bit depressed because she's always having to do this on her own. But Madoka says, "Oh, I'll help fight with you." And it's like this big lead-up to an awesome fight scene where the girl is going to destroy the witch, and there's going to be cake.
Yay, cake!
Now,
Insert Portal reference.
TK, you've role played with me. If this was the lead up to something, what would you expect to happen shortly after this?
Someone would die.
Yes, they did.
Yeah.
We know you too well.
It literally was. She looks like she's defeated the witch in an awesome Final Fantasy Buster Gun style. And then the witch bites her head off.
Nice.
Now imagine all those 12-year-old girls who've been watching the first couple of episodes up
Yeah, but
until this point, thinking this is a cute, magical girl series.
Well, it was aired at late night, so it wouldn't be.
Oh, but the
Wouldn't
DVD
stop
box
them.
sets.
Really wouldn't stop them.
Yeah, it would.
But yeah, this is where I got to. It was like literally cute, death. I was like, oh, this is awesome.
This has suddenly escalated.
Yeah, it's absolutely fantastic. And I started watching the 4th episode, and it's literally the girls are like crying their eyes out because someone they thought their friend, who was awesome, who was showing them how good a magical girl was, got shredded in
Aw.
front of them.
I'm sure they'll get over it.
Well, stuff happens. I know bits and pieces, and I have got a lot of theories, and I'm looking forward to watching the rest. In Japan, the first 10 episodes of the series were aired back in 2011, with the final 2 being delayed from when it was released in January and March until April,
Okay.
mostly because there was an earthquake and tsunami at the time. It got several awards in Japan, as well as a grand prize animation for the 2011 Japan Media Arts Awards. And it did get some interesting, he says, skipping over the entirety of the plot so I don't spoil it, responses when they reviewed this. Aside from the delays, some people felt there was a little bit of a bait and switch when they got to episode 3.
I wonder why. We're going to bait you in with these ladies and then switch it over for the gore.
Yeah, it's not even gory, it's just the sheer fact that it's like, oh, this is awesome, it's so part of the cliche, and then suddenly your head has been bitten off by a ginormous snake monster.
Just a typical day in the Borderlands.
But yeah, it gets worse. And,
Why? Does the snake then poop out your body?
no.
Because that
but
would be worse.
It gets worse, and if my theories are correct, because I've seen other anime that mess around with general cliches and genres,
And lesbians.
possibly.
Probably.
What I'm expecting is there to be a horrible connection between the magical girls and the witches. and the time travel thing to be fucked up, especially when Wish is involved in any way, shape, or form.
Alex, other lesbians.
There's always lesbians.
Cliches.
But I only watched 3 episodes, and it's like, this is awesome. I need to watch the... And I downloaded the entire series, so I've got it to watch.
There's...
If you're a...
Carry on.
Sorry, yeah. If you're a fan of different anime, something that pushes the boundaries of the conventions, this certainly is one that I would recommend for you, because it pushes your expectation of the magical girl genre, because it was things like Sailor Moon and a few others that formulated this style of girls against evil and everything wins at the end. This so isn't it. This so isn't that genre. And Alex has stopped paying attention again.
Well, no, there's also a film out. Well, I say a film. There are 3 films out. 2 are which recap films. 1 is an actual sequel film. You could just watch the recap films. They're like an hour and a half, 2 hours each.
I've got the series. I'm going to enjoy watching that one.
Okay.
That means I don't have to watch 2 recap films. It was also released as a video game on PSP as well. And Vita.
Oh, what do you know?
But yeah, I'm looking forward to watching the rest of it. I've really enjoyed it, and I would recommend it to anyone who's looking for a bit different from the norm in terms of anime.
You say different to the norms, but it's got cute girls and lesbians. It's not that different.
Yeah. So, TK, you watched Tintin finally.
I did watch Tintin finally, yes. After having downloaded the new series, well, I say new series, the newer series of Tintin, and then being disappointed that it wasn't the one that went Hergé's Adventures of Tintin at the start, because that's what I remember from my childhood. And then I thought, sod it, I'll watch the film, as you do. So I downloaded my legitimate review copy of the Tintin movie in 2D and had a watch, and was quite impressed by it. It's completely CG, but the characters are that step before Uncanny Valley, where it's like they're realistic and they're quite realistic, but it's not quite the creepy realistic just yet. They're verging on the edge of it. They're teetering, they're tinkering, but they're not quite over. Not Mars needs moms anyway, because that was just creepy. But no, they did the CG very well in Tintin. I was quite surprised and impressed with the facial animations and the actual look of the characters and the gorgeous vistas that they had there and lovely scenery. Not being too au fait on the original Tintin at all. I wasn't a huge fan back in the olden days, and I watched the cartoon series but didn't really take much of it in. I had a vague idea of people like Captain Haddock, who he was supposed to be in Tintin himself, and the 2 police officers, Metropole, was it?
I don't know.
Pete, you seen this film before?
Pete's gone.
He's gone, yeah. We've lost him.
Pete is no longer with us.
We've lost him.
We lost him, we has.
He's still attached to the hangout, but we've lost him.
Oh, is he hanging on?
He's hanging on in the hangout.
Oh.
He hasn't hung up. Oh. But yeah, I was mostly familiar with some of the characters, so it wasn't... I didn't come into it completely blind. But I had no idea of any of the stories. Apparently this is supposed to follow one of the comics, and apparently it does a quite faithful recreation of one of the comics. But I didn't know anything about that, so I just went into it fairly blind. And from what I can say, I actually had a really good time watching this. It did slow down in a couple of places, and it did feel like it was starting to drag on a bit by the end. But for the most part, it was quite full of action, quite action-packed, quite exciting. Some lovely scenes in it involving nice long camera shots that didn't just distract from the action. You could actually tell what the hell was going on, which was nice, especially for the action scenes. It wasn't one of these films where it just keeps cutting the action every 20 nanoseconds because your attention span is so short and ADD ridden that you need it to keep up. These are actually long enough to actually give you an idea of what the hell was going on. Especially one particular scene where it's a chase sequence, which involved a lovely long camera pan throughout a lot of the scene, taking it down to its natural conclusion, which I thought was actually a very nicely done little scene indeed. The story mostly revolves on Tintin buying a boat. Not a real boat, a model boat. but there being a lot of interest in this boat, which he randomly picks up from a marketplace, to the point where people die trying to get hold of this boat from Tintin. And unbeknownst to Tintin, there is a scroll hidden within one of the masts in this model boat. And Snowy accidentally knocks it off a shelf. Snowy is the name of his dog, his little white dog. And this little vial rolls away out of sight. And he's like, oh, well, that's bad. Then they have to go out because somebody's been murdered, so they have to go and investigate that. And when they come home, they realise that the ship's been stolen. Oh dear. So he traces back to where he thinks it might be, meets the villain of the piece, but without really realising it's the villain yet, although every warning bell is going off in your mind and going, this is the villain, this is the villain. And then we start a journey around the world as Tintin basically starts investigating about the ship, the Unicorn, and goes on a bit of a story trying to track down the remaining survivors of things and the ancestors of survivors, trying to find certain people and piece together certain clues in order to find a thing. He says, not spoiling the MacGuffin, though you can pretty much guess what the MacGuffin might be. And all in all, I really enjoyed it. I thought it was very clever in a lot of places. It did a lot of things I wasn't expecting it to, and didn't do a few things I was expecting it to, which helped kind of avoid a lot of the cliches I was kind of anticipating. And they took to solving certain problems ingeniously, although I very much doubt the physics in the real world. For the setting, it was genius. For instance, their use of an opera singer I thought was quite spectacular. It's like, that's incredibly novel. I'm not sure it would work in reality, but in in your fictional universe, yeah, I'm willing to buy this. It's not detracting from the story at all. I actually quite enjoy this. And the way somebody can train an eagle, I think, is a little bit something for the cartoons, as the phrase I think I'd use there.
Oh, it very much is entirely in the feel of the old cartoons, especially with like
it's this bird
Tintin sucker punching bigger men double his size.
Yeah, and well, that's one thing. I mean, it can be done. I've seen martial artists, but tiny, knock out
He's
people.
not a martial artist.
He's not, though. He's an investigative reporter. But he must be skilled in some sort of combat, because he was able to hold his own quite well. But, I mean, the eagle, for instance, had entirely too much agency and intelligence, and could understand its master entirely too well. To the extension of it might as well be human, its understanding. And I thought, yep, only in the cartoons. No real life.
Well, look at Snowy.
Yeah, but Snowy is a dog, and dogs can be well trained, and if you notice, Snowy was kind of able to communicate back to Tintin in places, in the way that dogs do. I mean, if you've ever owned a dog, you'll know that they have an extremely large vocabulary when they want to. Especially when it's words that they've picked up from you. Because, we couldn't even say the word forest around our dog. That was it. And even then, when we started using the place where there's trees, she soon picked up on that sentence as well. And in the end, nothing was safe. You couldn't even hint at an idea of a forest, because she'd just bounce up and down, get overexcited, thinking that we're going out to the forest. I mean, you couldn't watch the film Forrest Gump. Forget it. It's that word, and she'd be off. And she recognised ideas like Goatee Beach. She picked up on that, and then the place where the water is, and then just water. And yet she learnt to distinguish that from bath time. So yeah, dogs have entirely too much intelligence. So when it comes to a very intelligent dog in a cartoon, I'm leaning to give it that little bit more agency than I would most other animals. Because holy shit tickets. Dogs be smart, yo. And especially when it comes to fetching certain things. They're very good at fetch. It's a good game, they like that. But yeah, Snowy did have a lot of agency, more than most real-life dogs probably would as well. But no, the eagle kind of a little bit too intelligent for anything that isn't a cartoon. But because it's a cartoon, and the cartoon universe does set itself up very nicely in Tintin, you let it get. You let it go by, because it fits. It fits within that universe. And that's something I thought Tintin did very well. It created its own universe and then stuck to it. It didn't do what a lot of cartoons do, is they set the rules very early on, and then for the entire rest of the film go about breaking all these rules. Which is something that winds me up no end, and why I don't like a lot of DreamWorks films. And also, I was surprised to see the word Amberlin in the titles. Because I always thought Amblin had been wound up to create DreamWorks, because it was Steven Spielberg's company, Amblin. Which is one of the reasons why they have trouble with Bonkers. Because, not Bonkers, Roger Rabbit, because Steven Spielberg part owns him. Because Amblin were one of the people involved in Who Framed Roger Rabbit. There you go, done known fact. But yeah, I actually really enjoyed Tintin. It didn't take itself too seriously in terms of this is a very important, serious plot, serious time now. There was a good amount of humour to be had. It wasn't a comedy, so there wasn't any of that kind of comedic humour. There was a fair bit of slapstick, but nothing, again, too far out of the way to be a distraction, more than just a brief moment of enjoyment. The comical side relief characters weren't annoying, which is always pleasant. The kind of mini plot about the wallet snatcher resolved itself amusingly and had deeper implications on the plot, which meant certain characters were in the right place at the right time, which was quite nice. It's like, we're not going to shout out the exact reason, but we're going to let you piece together the clues as to why they're here, and then once you've worked it out, then they might just tell you pretty bluntly. But without really giving it too much away, because I think they get interrupted before they can give the whole story. But yeah, it didn't insult my intelligence. I think it's one of the best ways to say it. It set itself out. This is what I am. This is what I'm going to be. I'm going to be an entertaining couple of hours of story, and you're going to have fun, and you're not going to be pissed off at me. And it achieved all those with flying colours. I was actually quite entertained by it. And so, I would recommend this. If you haven't yet seen Tintin, if Tintin you don't even really give a shit about, because I didn't really give too much of a shit, that's why it took me so long to see it. But I would recommend seeing it, because for a fully CGI animated feature, I can't really call this a cartoon, it's definitely worth your time. Give it a watch. I'd put it not quite on par with Hugo. I know Hugo's live action, but I wouldn't put it quite on par with Hugo in terms of its grandioseness, but it's certainly up there in that realm. If that makes sense.
It is a good film, yeah.
It's a very good film. Very impressive to the eye. Very impressive to the eye.
I just looked up Amblin.
Oh, yeah?
It's still an independent production company, although Universal distributes many of its productions. Amblin operates out of a building on the Universal lot.
Oh, really? Awesome.
Yep, the most recent films... they're part of the people, I think. They're still going to be underneath DreamWorks, but they've done Warhorse, Men in Black with them, Lincoln, 100-Foot Journey, and they're also going to be involved in Jurassic World.
Oh, really? Sweet. Well, Steven Spielberg, so yeah. Actually, is Steven Spielberg involved in Jurassic World?
Let me look on that one.
I think he might be, but I'm not entirely sure. But
No.
Just as companies in. Because Jurassic World semi-interests me. Originally I thought it might be a kind of reboot of Jurassic Park, but on a bigger scale. But now as more's coming out of it, it was like, okay, now there's a guy who looks like he trains dinosaurs.
Yeah, don't.
It's like, you're losing me, film. You're losing me.
So stupid.
You had me to start with. I thought this could be quite interesting, but you're starting to lose me.
Oh, yeah.
Don't do it, kids. Don't do it.
He conducts behavioural research on the velociraptors. Apparently, according to the wiki.
Right. So
the main plot is them creating Indominus Rex, a genetically modified hybrid dinosaur to boost visitor attendance.
Yeah, to the cinemas. Because that's all they're doing it for. We need a bigger bad. We had the big bad, then we had the bigger bad, then we had the biggest bad. Now we need a biggest bad.
The biggest of bads.
The worst of big bads.
Yeah, it mentions Spielberg as executive producer. He was going to direct it, but in 2012 he opted instead to be a producer. There's been a lot of changes.
Not surprised.
Huge number of changes.
I'm not in the least bit surprised.
He'll probably have an oar in it, but
Oh yeah, it's his money. If he's the executive producer, then
Yeah.
he's funding it, so that's all fine.
The only reason I'm interested in watching it is for the potential to see what Chris Pratt does with a different role.
In what way? First of all,
Being
who's Chris
he's
Pratt?
not Chris Pratt, the guy who played Star-Lord in Guardians of the Galaxy.
Oh, him. Okay. Oh yeah, him.
Yeah.
So what's he this time?
He's the guy who does the behavioural research
The guy on the bike riding through the
with the
Velociraptor
Velociraptors running past him.
thing. Yeah. Okay. Because the way I was looking, who was the guy who had the glasses and the hair and the leather jacket in the first one? The one who was like in all the others as well, I think, or in a couple of them.
Malcolm was the chaos mathematician in 1 and 2. Sam Neill was the archaeologist, paleontologist from 1 and 3.
Might be him. Oh, hang on, no, he was the one who had the kids, wasn't he?
Yes.
No, it's the other one then. The more wisecracky one.
Yeah, so that's the guy who played Malcolm, and I can't remember who the hell he is.
Yeah, I'm sure someone will know. People are smart. That's what channel's there for. And Wikipedia. But yeah,
Jeff Goldblum. There we go.
Yeah, Jeff Goldblum. Yeah, I thought it'd be kind of him doing that, but apparently not. Then, if it's on Star-Lord's actor. Okay. I don't know if it's losing me more or less now. It's probably.
Well, it depends on how much more info comes out of it, because at the moment it's ginormous genetic freak dinosaur escapes and kills everybody.
Again.
Yeah.
I still don't.
Why don't we just call it Godzilla?
Because that was a genetically modified monster. That was au naturel. Or was it? I haven't seen the film. My understanding it was all natural, but there you go. Freak
So, Alex,
I don't honestly think I have anything worth talking about.
Well, then maybe you could explain to me what the fuss was about Guardians of the Galaxy.
I haven't seen Guardians of the Galaxy,
Oh.
so I don't know what the fuss is about.
Everyone raved about it, and it was just this kind of okay action flick as far as I was concerned. I don't see the fuss in this.
It probably is like an average, Marvel.
I gave it a quite solid 5 out of 10. It did exactly what it said on the tin. It told me about the Guardians of the Galaxy. It entertained me for an hour and a half, 2 hours. And that was about it. And then made me watch Howard the Duck after the credits. So, I don't know if that makes it lose a star or not. But I just don't understand the fuss about it. Everyone's going, oh my god, this is the greatest film since the history of bread. Ah! It's like, it really isn't. I promise. There are better films out there. I don't quite understand what all this hype is about. Pete, you liked it. What's the hype all about?
it's just a fun film. It's just a fun, silly action film, and I enjoyed it because it was just a throwback to all of the silly music and old cartoons that I remembered.
Yeah,
So it was a bit nostalgic for me.
A bit of nostalgia and a silly, fun action film. So, how does it equate to the best film ever, as a lot of people were saying? I mean, I can understand
Well,
the best film to come out of Marvel, because quite a lot of that's just been dirgy shite, but everything basically
Well,
after Iron Man 2.
The films of the first films of things have been steadily building up pace, because the first Iron Man was good. The Avengers film blew everything out of the water. Thor, the remake of the Incredible Hulk, and that kind of momentum has
Faded?
generally carried on. No, it's still been carrying on. It's just not been as good with sequels. The firsts have been good. The sequels have been a bit. Why?
So, a bit like Disney then. The Disney rule of 3 is that the first film will be mind-blowing, the second film will be an absolute diatribe, and then the third film won't be quite as good as the first film, but will be a sound apology for the second one.
It feels that way for Iron Man 3, certainly, even though I wasn't a fan of the third one.
Because Iron Man 2 was shit.
I haven't seen Iron Man 2.
Oh my... Don't. Just save yourself the anguish. Seriously. Oh my god, it was appalling. And the end fight, how they resolved that. Oh, that can fuck right off.
I sense anger.
That was an insult to your intelligence, that bending. That really was. It's like...
It was the power high five of Doom. That's
Yeah.
what he's got issues
It
with.
was. It was, oh, look, how do we win? Oh, let's high five. Oh, look, we win.
Oh, that was about Whiplash, wasn't it?
Yes, that was about Whiplash.
I saw the ending.
Fucking
It
hell.
looks stupid.
It was
It is.
stupid. Oh, and he's just going to basically recreate the LHC in his basement out of spare parts. Oh, that wound me up as well. It's like, fuck off. There's a limit as to how much bullshit I can take in a film, and you've exceeded that limit, I'm afraid. I am now out of the action. You have lost me entirely. You're never getting me back. Like the mirror opposite to Big Hero 6. Big Hero 6 went, here's some really interesting concepts. We're going to do some crazy shit with them, but we're going to keep it within the universe, and you're going to go with it. And I did. Whereas Iron Man 2 said, well, we set all of Iron Man 1 establishing the universe. Now let's fuck it up. So annoyed that film. Don't see it ever. It's an abomination of cinematography that somehow got a load of hype and did really well. Probably because of Robert Downey Jr. I can't see any other redeeming feature in this film. At all.
So Alex has nothing for Done and Dusted.
I don't have anything yet. I will have something next week, definitely, because there are a couple of things I'm playing, but I haven't touched on enough to play to speak about it.
Fair enough. I'm just pissed off because we're sports instead of Musketeers again.
Yeah, that
I
was hilarious.
fucking hate sports at the best of times. And when it starts interfering with my regular TV viewing, oh, it can suck a dick and die. I don't watch much telly as it is. So when I do get the opportunity to watch something, to have something on TV that I actually want to watch, and then to then push it to next week.
Sports!
Because some fat people in tight clothing want to run around a bit in the mud for 2 hours. That can fuck off. That can fuck off so hard. All of my offs, they can fuck it. I give them my permission. Oh, yeah. Not that I'm so annoyed or vocal about this in the slightest.
No, not at all.
Fucking who? If it isn't the Grand Prix, it can suck a dick and die. At least the Grand Prix doesn't exceed its boundaries and stays where it is.
Well, that's kind of the thing, though, at the moment, because we're now in that period where we're waiting for something big and interesting to come along. Because there's little interesting things, but it's like the Grand Prix is coming up,
March the 15th.
cinema. That's we don't have a huge amount. I know there's a list of things I need to see, but it's like Big Hero 6
Same.
that's already come out.
Shaun the Sheep's out, which I want to see, but I don't really want to go to the cinema to watch it. So I'll have to wait until it becomes available on Blu-ray.
And it's like Avengers 2 is later this year. The Ant-Man film is later this year. DC, I think, has got a film this year.
Really
Yeah.
don't care.
Although, if you're really interested, on Valentine's Day, you can go and watch some horrible crap called 50 Shades of Grey.
How about 50 Shades of Fuck No? All of the shades of fuck no, in fact.
Pretty much. Although Minions does look good.
Again, I haven't really seen Despicable Me 1 or 2, so...
Oh, you need to. It's hilarious.
I've been signed up to the PlayStation Network.
It's been hacked again.
No, I left my PS Vita on and it went into shutdown mode. Standby mode. And kicked me off. DJ says, that was the problem about F1. It didn't stay where it was, it went to fucking Sky. Yeah, it's true. Majority of the F1 did fuck off to Sky. As did the backstabbing prick Martin Brundle.
Ooh.
Yeah. Twat. Don't like him anymore. But then we get David Coulthard and Eddie Jordan, who I find are much more entertaining. Mostly because they spend most of the time fighting. Their constant bickering is what makes it funny.
Bigger, 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 bigger.
Indeed. And then you've got little Susie Perry, whatever her name is, just been trying to keep the peace and failing miserably. But no, I like the F1 because it's a sensible-ish sport where it's man and machine versus other mans with their machines and a shitload of money. Whereas the people aren't necessarily paid a shitload of money to partake in the sport, but they earn a shitload of money through sponsorship deals, plastered all over their cars and all over their faces and everywhere else. And it's nice. I like that because you can be a shit footballer and still do reasonably well in like small leagues and stuff. You can't really be a shit Formula 1 driver and get away with it for too long because you'll either die or be kicked off of F1 and back to the lower leagues of karting and stuff like that. It's only the creme de la creme getting the F1 cars. And the stakes are a lot higher as well, because when you crash an F1 car, not only are you risking life and limb, but you're also crashing how many millions of pounds worth of equipment?
Several. I don't think it's hundreds. I think it's a good in the tens.
Yeah, it's a pretty figure. I think even like some of the old F1 cars are still like 1.8 million. The one, yeah,
Well,
they
it was
have on Top
when
Gear.
they was it who did Hammond? Was it Jordan or Williams? He did the staggered up of the formulas.
Yeah. Oh, I think that was with McLaren.
I thought I shut off when you were talking about normal stuff. Jeez. I didn't even realize you were talking.
F1. But yeah, and then Richard Hammond, who managed to go full throttle for about, an eighth of a second.
Yeah, he shit his pants.
Not really surprised. How would you like to go from 0 to 60? Oh, you've done it.
And now you need to brake. Seriously, you need to brake.
Yeah, very suddenly, very quickly, very hard. Otherwise, your brakes won't work at all. Because there won't be enough heat in the tyres. And then you're going to go cooling off and crash 1.8 million's worth of Formula 1 car. And
Yeah, he was a bit paranoid about that.
I'd be a bit paranoid about that. It's like, hey, you can sit in our car. I'm not going to touch anything apart from the bit that my bum rests on. That's a very expensive looking steering wheel. How many thousands? Not touching it. That's a very expensive looking accelerator pedal. How about I not touch that? How about I just not touch anything? I'll just sit here in the car, not touching. I'll just compress all my limbs together and not touch. I mean, I expect the bloody overalls are expensive enough.
Well, they're the fire retardant, high tech,
Yeah.
don't sweat your balls off material, isn't they? Yeah.
Well, it's quite funny as I was looking at the BBC F1 pages, and there was I can't remember who the bloody test driver is. There's a woman test driver, and she was trying on someone's helmet, and he's got such a small head that she couldn't get her head in there. Tiny-headed man, and she was kind of 60% with this helmet on, going, nope, not going any further. And then he took a photo and put it on Twitter.
And then she killed him.
In blood and violence. But yeah, there are a couple of people now, a couple of ladies in the Formula 1 doing test driving, so it could be interesting. In a couple of years' time, we could actually start seeing female Formula 1 drivers. Wouldn't that be interesting? And then we can see how many accidents they cause. Because any time that there is an accident involving one of the women, it'd be like typical woman drivers. I mean, I can't remember, Pastor Maldonado, who's been responsible for a great many crashes in his time, has now almost become a cliche of himself. So whenever there's an accident and he's involved, it's like, yep, his fault. Even when it isn't his fault, it's his fault somehow. Because he's
Well, that sounds like driver logic on the streets. It's a case if you drive into the side of a car at full tilt, his fault.
Yeah, you got in my way somehow. Yeah, but you went through a red light, still his fault. Look at how. That's what the insurance company's going to say anyway. His fault, definitely. I'm not paying out for that shit. God,
Is Alex still with us?
Yes, I'm still here.
Oh, I thought he might have zoned out completely.
Well,
Asleep.
I have, but you said my name.
So is Feeder still here?
Ooh.
I thought that might trip him up, but no. He survived that little test. But that does bring us quite successfully until the end of the show. Because we have managed to waffle, moan about the fact that everyone's gone to Sky, because fuck Sky. Fuck Rupert Murdoch and his stupid ass shitty companies. Grr. I was going to say something and I've completely forgot what it was due to Rupert Murdoch Wage. Which is a little bit of a tongue twister in its own right. But yes, it is time for us to end the show and say goodnight and do that going away thing. Because we have but 2 minutes of the show left. And it normally takes us about that much to wrap up. Because, you know, it's nearly the end of the season.
Yeah, we're getting into the end of everything.
We've got 5 shows left. We'll just wait for Pete to work it out with his fingers.
Shut up.
Notice there's no denials there. Yeah, so 5 shows
Well,
left.
that will be
Episode
middle of
52.
March.
Yeah, middle of March. Which is quite useful because end of March I'm going out, so... Okay, not on a Monday because I'll be working, but yeah, it works out quite nicely. And then I'll get to blow the dust off the equipment, try and clean it a bit, try and replace all the loose and old cables that are breaking.
All of them.
Yeah. I've got to speak to Hedgie about actually rearranging things. And I want to see if I can try and get most of the studio out into the lounge so we can all be in the same room again. Because I'm
not entirely sure how that'll work, because if you put the studio out in the lounge, where will the people go?
Yeah. This is what I've got to talk to Hedgie about. I've had a couple of ideas, but it involves making purchases. And doing a lot of moving and removing.
Does it involve getting rid of junk?
I'm not sure yet.
Because if it doesn't, then no, the plan's not going to work.
Repositioning, maybe. Actually buying the proper storage to store said junk. So that we can then do other things, potentially. But yeah, I've got a few things in mind. I'm not sure entirely how they'd work. But it's going to be discussions with Hedgie. But yeah, I'd like us all to be back in the same room. Because I miss being in there. I've had a couple of seasons in my little box now. And it's annoying just only being able to watch these guys on the YouTube feed delayed by 30 seconds. Grumble, grumble, grumble. But that is something for another day. For maybe season 9. Who knows? But
well, we're getting to it.
We are indeed. But it is the end of season 8's episode 47. So, with that note, it is a good night from the Angel Dark Song.
Good night.
It is a good night from the Xavier.
Good night.
And it's a good night from myself, TK. Thank you all very much for listening or watching this episode of TigerTails Radio. And we will be back next week at 8 o'clock UK time for another exciting episode of this shenanigan-filled bollocks. And you never know, maybe the website will be updated by then.
Maybe.
No promises. But until then, it's night-night, everybody.
Night, night.
Night.